What if the frozen dinner you just microwaved contained ingredients banned in the European Union since 2024, but still legal in your local Costco? In May of 2025, the U.S. Food Safety Review Board released a blistering report showing a 38% spike in prepared meal recalls compared to the same period last year. Shockingly, over 60% of those recalls were linked to big box store brands. Among the most frequent offenders, Kirkland, the beloved Costco label that millions trust without hesitation. When did convenience start costing us our long-term health? And why are we still putting blind trust in products that don't trust us enough to tell the truth? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. Today we expose the 9 Costco prepared meals you should absolutely avoid. Number 1. Kirkland Rotisserie Chicken. You've probably seen the famous Kirkland Rotisserie Chicken at Costco, spinning under the lights like a Vegas showgirl, all dressed up in golden, crispy skin. It's practically an American treasure by now, right? A hot, hearty meal for under $6. Actually cheaper than a gallon of gas in some states. For working class folks and retirees stretching every penny until it squeaks, that fragrant bird felt like a small victory against rising prices and shrinking wallets. Easy, tasty, and downright affordable. What's not to love? But have you ever stopped to wonder just how Costco pulls off this poultry magic trick? I mean, when something looks too good to be true, Grandma always said to peek behind the curtain. And in early 2025, that curtain got yanked wide open, and what we saw wasn't pretty. Major investigations by leading newspapers splashed shocking images onto America's breakfast tables. Chickens jammed into cages tighter than Uncle Bob in his prom tux, bred so rapidly their fragile bones couldn't even hold their own weight. 12% of these poor birds never made it to the roasting spit alive. Numbers were so grim they shattered industry norms. And there's more. Government tests quietly surfaced, finding banned antibiotic residues lingering in Costco's rotisserie chickens. Those chemicals are outlawed in dozens of countries, but still making their way onto your dinner plate. Think about it. Every juicy bite might secretly be weakening your defenses against infections. Who knew that your favorite convenient meal could turn your body's internal defenses into a leaky old garden hose, just when your immune system needs all the help it can get? But perhaps the most bitter betrayal was Costco's labeling. Despite their bright, reassuring stickers promising natural and humanely raised, a class action lawsuit filed in the spring of 2025 declared these claims little more than hollow promises. Did Costco think we wouldn't notice? Or did they just assume we'd turn a blind eye to uncomfortable truths for the sake of convenience and savings? Either way, it feels like being lied to by a friend you invited home for Sunday dinner, disappointment and disbelief mixed into one heavy feeling. But before we roast Costco over a slow fire, let's take a breath and consider the bigger picture. The grocery business is ruthless, a battlefield where low prices rule and profit margins shrink faster than Grandpa's hairline. Stores like Costco face relentless pressure to keep customers satisfied, shareholders smiling, and costs rock bottom. Maybe Costco isn't the villain here, but another player caught in a merciless game, a system that cares more about pennies saved than principles upheld. Perhaps they're struggling too, forced into uncomfortable corners by invisible market forces we rarely see. Still, does understanding their pressure excuse the shortcuts taken? How much compromise can we stomach before our values begin to fade away, one rotisserie chicken at a time? Maybe it's time we paused and reflected. Could we choose differently, even within tight budgets? Imagine sourcing chickens from your local farmer's market, shaking hands with the folks raising your food. Trader Joe's sells organic, pasture-raised chickens. Cooking at home could become a new tradition, something satisfying and safe, bringing you confidence in every meal. We can't change Costco overnight, nor the larger system they're tangled in, but our small choices matter. Every dollar we spend tells companies what we'll tolerate. So what values sit down with you at your dinner table? And when trust is broken, what does it take to rebuild it? Costco too deserves some compassion, trapped between ruthless market demands and our desire for cheap convenience. Maybe we're all part of this mess together, customers, corporations, farmers, and suppliers. Could real change start with conversations like this one, where we admit our disappointments openly and push for something better? Number 2, stuffed bell peppers. You've seen them nestled cozily on the refrigerated shelves at Costco. Those Kirkland's colorful stuffed bell peppers lined up proudly like tiny edible trophies. Stuffed full of savory meat, veggies, and cheese, they seem to whisper, "Dinner's ready, no chopping, no sweating, no stress." If you rather relax than wrestle with recipes, these peppers promise a home-cooked vibe with none of the hassle. It's the sort of meal that makes you feel like Costco genuinely cares about your dinnertime sanity. Such a culinary pat on the back for choosing wisely and saving your energy. But here's the twist. Sometimes those attractive packages hide unpleasant surprises beneath their glossy covers. By early 2025, troubling consumer reports began trickling in like unwelcome bills, accounts of biting into partially frozen, icy centers despite meticulously following reheating instructions. Imagine sitting down after a long day, your mouth watering for warm comfort, only to feel ice crystals crunch between your teeth. That's like expecting a cozy fireplace and getting a snowball in the face. More than mere annoyance, improperly heated prepared meals pose genuine health hazards. Those sneaky cold pockets could harbor bacteria just waiting to turn dinner into a medical dilemma. And speaking of bacteria, independent lab testing in early 2025 uncovered something even more troubling lurking within samples from stores across multiple states: traces of Listeria monocytogenes. Let's not sugarcoat it. Listeria is nasty business, especially for seniors or anyone with weakened immunity, causing serious illness or even death. That comforting little tray from Costco might suddenly seem more sinister, transforming dinnertime relaxation into anxious contemplation. Could your favorite easy meal be quietly gambling with your health? Yet the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Further investigation revealed unsettling details about Kirkland suppliers, some of whom had past run-ins with sanitation violations, questionable hygiene practices, and outdated equipment. Internal whistleblower reports from late 2024 mentioned facilities struggling with labor shortages and overwhelmed by production demands. Picture the Costco supply chain as an exhausted parent, overworked, overtired, trying desperately to hold everything together under impossible circumstances. It makes you wonder, when corners get cut, who ultimately pays the price? Now, before we pile onto Costco, let's take a breath and consider their position. Costco isn't deliberately setting out to ruin your dinner. They're navigating a high-wire act, balancing massive customer demand, tiny profit margins, and complicated logistics. The very qualities we love about Costco, like affordable pricing, bulk availability, all require trade-offs. Inspection systems and meticulous quality controls are costly, and sometimes they buckle beneath the enormous pressure of feeding millions affordably. Can we empathize with a giant juggling act, even if a ball occasionally drops? Still, empathy doesn't erase our need for safer alternatives. Perhaps it's worth exploring local meal prep services, specialty grocers, or even home-cooked options. Farmers markets and local delis often prepare stuffed peppers using fresh, organic ingredients you can actually recognize. Home cooking stuffed peppers isn't as tough as it sounds. A little fresh produce, some lean ground meat, cheese, and seasoning, and you've got a healthy meal tailored precisely to your tastes. Or maybe consider meal kit delivery options with fresh ingredients already portioned and prepped, giving you control without the headache. At the end of the day, Kirkland's stuffed bell peppers offer a glimpse into the uncomfortable bargain we often make between convenience and safety. When does an easy meal cross the line from helpful to hazardous? How often have you found yourself questioning the hidden risks behind the glossy labels promising wholesome dinners? It's worth reflecting upon, because every choice we make in the grocery aisle quietly shapes the system we all rely on, whether we realize it or not. And perhaps, despite our disappointment, Costco itself deserves a moment of compassion. After all, maybe they're caught in the same web of impossible expectations we face in our own lives. So how do we, as consumers, balance compassion for companies like Costco with holding them accountable for the food we feed our families? Can we create a food system where convenience doesn't come at such a steep cost to health and trust? Number 3, mac and cheese tray. Costco's Kirkland mac and cheese tray. Just looking at that bubbling golden layer, you can almost hear it whispering sweet promises of childhood joy and effortless dinners. What could be simpler or more comforting than popping a ready-made tray into the oven, then serving up creamy, cheesy bliss without breaking a sweat? But lately, the cozy warmth of this convenient favorite has been chilled by some unsettling revelations. Since early 2024, troubling reports have surfaced, highlighting nutritional pitfalls hiding beneath this inviting comfort food. Independent lab tests show that just one serving delivers over 75% of the daily sodium limit recommended for those over 50. That's like pouring half the salt shaker directly into your bowl. And saturated fat? It competes with greasy fast food cheeseburgers, sneaking risks of heart disease and obesity onto the plates of unsuspecting diners. Isn't it ironic how something so heartwarming might be quietly working against your actual heart health? And then come complaints about taste and texture. Customers describing the sauce as oddly artificial, the pasta rubbery enough to bounce back at you. Ingredient lists reveal additives like sodium citrate and artificial dyes, brightening the cheese to a nostalgic yellow-orange, but triggering discomfort and allergic reactions in sensitive stomachs. One viral online review from mid-2024 humorously compared its aftertaste to a factory mishap at Crayola. Has convenience pushed flavor so far from the authentic tastes of homemade recipes? Even more troubling, a small food safety watchdog investigation found that packaging for these trays might leach trace amounts of phthalates, chemicals linked to hormonal disruption. Though amounts are low, who wants to imagine chemicals quietly slipping into your meal alongside the cheddar sauce? Especially for older adults regularly enjoying these easy dinners, small risks could slowly add up into big worries. But before we heap too much blame on Costco, it's worth acknowledging their challenging position. Keeping meals affordable at mass scales means compromising ingredient purity for price and shelf life stability. Costco walks a tightrope between customer demands for cheap convenience and the realities of industrial production. Could it be that companies like Costco are caught in the same economic squeeze as consumers, forced to cut corners in pursuit of lower prices? Fortunately, healthier, safer mac and cheese options do exist. Cooking homemade mac and cheese with real cheese, fresh ingredients, and whole grain pasta isn't as tough as it sounds, and local delis or natural grocers often sell freshly prepared dishes with cleaner ingredients. Meal kit services offer transparent alternatives too, letting you enjoy familiar comfort foods without sacrificing control over quality. So the next time you reach for that familiar tray, pause a moment and ask yourself, is convenience worth potential health compromises hidden behind comforting promises? Have you ever felt betrayed by foods you trusted? Perhaps it's time we demand more honesty and nourishment from the meals we rely on most. Number 4. Chicken Alfredo. Let's face it, Costco's Kirkland chicken. Alfredo seems like your dependable friend after a long, exhausting day, waiting patiently in your freezer, promising creamy, cheesy comfort in mere minutes. With its cozy allure and claims of authentic Italian taste, it feels like a reassuring hug in meal form, especially for retirees and busy families stretching tight budgets and tighter schedules. Who wouldn't feel tempted by that warm promise of easy satisfaction? But wait. What if behind that warm promise lies something far less comforting? Recent consumer watchdog reports from early 2025 waved big red flags about this freezer aisle favorite. Turns out one innocent-looking serving delivers almost 70% of the daily recommended sodium limit for older adults. That's enough salt to make your doctor's blood pressure spike just reading about it. And the saturated fat lurking within rivals' greasy drive-through cheeseburgers. Quite a shock for folks already carefully watching their heart health. Did convenience just quietly cross the line into genuine risk? And if salt and fat weren't enough, lab tests uncovered even more unsettling ingredients hiding beneath the smooth sauce. Artificial additives like sodium triphosphate and carrageenan have snuck into this dish, enhancing texture and shelf life but potentially causing digestive issues and inflammation, particularly troubling for anyone battling sensitive stomachs or autoimmune conditions. Those additives aren't exactly what springs to mind when Costco says fresh and authentic, are they? But there's more. Customers on social media and the Better Business Bureau shared widespread complaints describing rubbery chunks of chicken and watery sauces, with portions that looked noticeably smaller than promised. One viral Reddit thread described it bluntly as tasting processed and cheap. The culinary equivalent of discovering your trusted Cadillac was secretly a used lemon. Is that disappointing discrepancy really worth saving a few cooking minutes? Yet before we dismiss Costco outright, it's only fair to recognize the massive pressures they juggle every day. Keeping prices low while delivering consistent quality on an enormous scale is a nearly impossible balancing act, made even harder by post-pandemic shortages, staffing struggles, and relentless competition. Maybe Costco, too, is caught between tough choices, forced to compromise on ingredients to keep meal prices accessible. Could they be as much a victim of the system as consumers themselves? Still, healthier alternatives do exist without sacrificing flavor or convenience. Why not explore fresh pasta and additive-free sauces from Trader Joe's, or support your local deli that crafts chicken Alfredo from scratch, using ingredients you can actually pronounce? Or perhaps try cooking a simple homemade version, just cream, butter, parmesan, and grilled chicken. Even meal kits like HelloFresh offer clearly labeled nutritious meals without leaving you chained to the stove. In the end, Kirkland's Chicken Alfredo reveals the hidden price we sometimes unknowingly pay for convenience. How far are we willing to compromise our health and taste buds for a quick dinner fix? Have you ever felt betrayed by trusted brands hiding uncomfortable truths behind glossy labels? Perhaps it's time we started demanding more honesty, more quality, and more nourishment from the meals we rely on most. Number 5. Enchilada Bake. Costco's Kirkland. Enchilada Bake sure looks inviting, doesn't it? Like a fiesta neatly packed into a tray, promising busy seniors and tired families instant warmth without kitchen chaos. Just heat, eat, and enjoy. What could possibly spoil such a tempting picture? But from late 2024 into early 2025, reports bubbled up like hot cheese, revealing this festive bake was quietly loaded with trouble. Nutrition studies unveiled a grim truth. This casserole packs refined carbs, unhealthy fats, and calorie overloads linked to obesity and type 2 diabetes, especially dangerous for older adults. Did convenience quietly become a hidden health trap? Even more alarming, the Food Integrity Project found undeclared allergens like soy lecithin in wheat fillers hiding beneath layers of sauce. Consumers across forums shared troubling allergic reactions, prompting health department warnings in California. Imagine biting into comfort but tasting betrayal. Was your trust misplaced? Insiders from Costco's contracted factories exposed darker corners of the supply chain. Mechanically separated meats and questionable additives mixed quietly into the filling. Leaked emails suggested Costco knew these corners were cut, but chose price and availability over transparency. Yet maybe we can empathize with Costco's tough spot, balancing relentless consumer demand for affordability with stressed supply chains, inflation, and labor shortages. They're caught in an impossible tug of war, forced into compromises none of us want. Fortunately, healthier alternatives exist. Local eateries, fresh markets, or homemade recipes that keep tradition alive without hidden fillers. Meal kits with transparent ingredients can also offer convenience without sacrificing quality. So next time you crave convenience, ask yourself, when does the hidden cost outweigh comfort? How often do you sacrifice your health unknowingly for easy dinners? Maybe it's time we reconsider the real price of these shortcuts, because trust, like a good meal, should never leave a bitter aftertaste. Number 6. Chicken Street Tacos Kit. Costco's Kirkland. Chicken Street Tacos Kit looks like the perfect shortcut to a festive Mexican dinner. Bright tortillas, juicy chicken, and toppings promising authentic street food flavors. For tired seniors and busy working families, it's marketed as a flavorful break from routine, without the hassle or high cost. Who wouldn't want a mini vacation on their dinner plate? Yet starting in 2024, consumers raised unsettling complaints online about slimy textures, off-smelling chicken, and even uneven cooking. Some diners reported feeling unwell afterward, prompting state health departments to investigate scattered cases of foodborne illness. Official testing in early 2025 found worrying antibiotic residues and preservatives, including tetracycline derivatives, substances banned in many developed countries for routine poultry use. Suddenly, convenience had a bitter aftertaste. Behind these problems lies another reality. Whistleblower accounts from a supplier's facility revealed rushed production leading to lapses in cooking and refrigeration standards, especially during peak seasons. Costco, striving to maintain affordable prices and keep shelves stocked amid labor shortages and rising costs, faced intense pressures that may have compromised quality controls. It's a stark reminder. Quick meals can sometimes mean taking risks we never signed up for. Fortunately, safer alternatives exist. Buying pre-cooked chicken from local butchers or trusted delis and pairing it with fresh tortillas and toppings lets you control freshness. Authentic taquerias or specialty Mexican markets offer prepared ingredients that promise quality without hidden shortcuts. And cooking simple seasoned chicken at home ensures safety and flavor in every bite. This story makes us pause and reconsider. How often do we unknowingly trade safety for convenience? And when budget pressures force companies into difficult compromises, who's truly responsible? Perhaps it's time we ask tougher questions about the meals we rely on and demand higher standards for food we trust. Number 7. Chicken pot pie. Costco's Kirkland. Chicken pot pie sits proudly on shelves like a warm hug waiting in your freezer, promising flaky crust, tender chicken, and hearty veggies in every creamy bite. For seniors and busy families alike, this pot pie feels like an affordable ticket back to simpler times. Pop it in the oven and nostalgia seems guaranteed, but recently unsettling reports have punctured this comforting image. Throughout early 2025, complaints surfaced online describing textures that felt oddly rubbery or plastic-like. Casting doubt on the pie's homemade promise. Independent lab tests confirmed artificial thickening agents like methyl cellulose lurking quietly beneath the crust, raising concern among older customers prone to digestive issues. Then came a troubling health advisory in March. Each serving contained nearly 80% of the recommended daily sodium limit for adults over 50, an alarming figure for those already managing hypertension or heart health. Has convenience quietly turned into a ticking time bomb on your dinner plate? Whistleblower accounts from production plants added fuel to the fire, revealing rushed cycles of freezing and thawing driven by aggressive targets, further compromising freshness. Can we still trust mass-produced comfort when shortcuts overshadow quality? Still, before condemning Costco entirely, consider their predicament. Fierce competition, rising ingredient costs, and stretched supply chains force tough compromises. They're caught in a tight spot, desperately balancing consumer demands with economic realities. Luckily, better alternatives exist. Local bakeries and delis offer freshly prepared pot pies made traditionally, minus questionable additives. Or why not try making your own version at home with fresh ingredients? Meal delivery services focused on clean eating can also deliver convenience without sacrificing trust. Ultimately, Kirkland's chicken pot pie forces us to question the hidden price of convenience. When easy meals compromise our health, how much comfort remains? Perhaps it's time we ask ourselves what genuine nourishment and trust are truly worth. Number 8. BBQ Pork Ribs. Costco's Kirkland. BBQ Pork Ribs promise the delicious ease of smoky, succulent ribs without breaking a sweat over a hot grill. A dream come true for busy seniors and working families craving comfort. Just unwrap, heat, and savor tender meat dripping in sauce. A shortcut to backyard barbecue bliss that seems almost too good to be true. But recent consumer concerns in 2024 and 2025 suggest it might be exactly that. Online complaints described ribs with strange chemical aftertastes and textures oddly rubbery and unnatural. Food safety tests revealed troubling additives like maltodextrin and cellulose, cheap fillers that bulk up the meat but dilute its authenticity and may cause digestive discomfort, especially for older adults. Even more disturbing, that enticing smoky flavor wasn't from slow cooking over real wood, but rather synthetic smoke flavorings. Some artificial smoke ingredients, including certain polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, have been flagged in studies as potential carcinogens if consumed regularly. Has convenience quietly transformed into hidden health risks? Employees at supplier plants anonymously described ruthless cost-cutting measures, blending cheaper pork cuts with fillers and artificial flavorings under relentless production pressure. This race against costs and time has compromised both consistency and quality, yet it's crucial to empathize with Costco's predicament. They operate under intense pressures to keep products affordable amidst inflation, rising ingredient costs, and global supply challenges. Navigating these challenges often forces uncomfortable compromises. Still, healthier and more genuine alternatives exist. Local butchers, specialty markets, or authentic BBQ joints often provide freshly smoked ribs without questionable additives. Preparing ribs at home using real wood smoke ensures full control over ingredients and flavor. The Kirkland BBQ Pork Ribs story prompts us to reflect. When does convenience compromise our health and authenticity? How many hidden shortcuts are we willing to accept in meals meant to nourish? Perhaps it's time we reconsidered what real comfort food truly means. Number 9. Lasagna with beef. Costco's Kirkland. Lasagna with beef looks like the ultimate crowd pleaser. Layered pasta, melty cheese, and seasoned meat, all baked into a hearty, ready-to-eat tray. For retirees and budget-conscious families, it feels like homemade Italian comfort without the labor. Just heat, serve, and relax. What could go wrong? Well, in mid-2024, consumer watchdogs began raising red flags. Lab tests revealed that the beef often includes mechanically separated meat and filler cuts padded with additives. Technically legal, but far from the real deal. These shortcuts not only dull the flavor, but also cheat you out of true nutritional value. Worse yet, elevated levels of nitrites and nitrates were found, preservatives linked to colorectal cancer when consumed regularly. For older adults managing chronic health issues, one serving also delivers over 65% of the recommended daily sodium intake. That's a risky bite dressed up as a comfort meal. Customers weren't quiet either. Complaints flooded in. Too salty, bland beef in a strangely uniform texture that felt more processed than pasta night should ever be. Some even reported stomach discomfort, raising deeper questions about what's really going into each tray. Leaked documents from late 2024 didn't help, showing sanitation lapses and understaffed production lines at a major supplier. While Costco has not recalled the product, these revelations have dented consumer trust. Costco faces real pressure. Sheets. Meeting huge demand while keeping prices low is no small task. But these behind-the-scenes compromises leave everyday shoppers paying a hidden cost. Safer alternatives? Local delis or Italian markets offer freshly made lasagna with real ingredients. Or try homemade with fresh pasta, lean beef, and simple spices. More effort, but real peace of mind. In the end, this frozen lasagna forces us to ask, is a shortcut still worth it when it cuts corners we can't see? Choosing convenience shouldn't mean sacrificing your health or trust. Behind every bite lies unseen choices and compromises. Join our community to uncover truths, protect your family, and demand better from brands we love. Subscribe now because your health matters, and together we can hold the food industry accountable. See you next time.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our daily content. Now feel free to check out some of the newest and best videos currently shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.